Good evening, everybody. Alex StarCraft here, bringing you guys another StarCraft 2 commentary. It is, of course, going to be another LiquidTLO replay. That oh-so-lovable German man, Dario Wunsch, something like that. I don't actually know. I only know that he is a baller, and he looks beastly without a shirt on. If you have not seen it, go check out Liquid Rising. You get to see TLO without a shirt, grilling and drinking beer. It's pretty interesting. And of course, he is our red Zerg. He's in the bottom left-hand corner. And we have in the top right-hand corner our other player. This is on the Korean ladder, so I'm not surprised to see him at all. No doubt, pretty high up on the Korean ladder. It's ST.Bomber, that freaking macro beast who everyone is rightfully scared of, or at least I know I'm scared of him, because he can keep up with a macro Zerg player all the way up and max out at the same time of them, and I just think that's one of the scariest things in the world. And it looks like he might want to be going command center first here. He does have a supply depot already built, not on the high ground, or not, I should say, not over here. So that means he's probably not going to be looking to wall. Okay, building one barracks down here. Interesting. TLO is checking for proxy barracks is what he's doing, looking at all these locations. There are, of course, common locations. But Bomber might actually look to be aggressive here. This one down on 12, which is standard. Now, he could build a second barracks now, and that's going to be the question. Is he going to do that? It looks like no, he's not, otherwise he already would have done it. So what he's actually doing here, in case you guys don't know, what he's doing is he's building the buildings in a strange position to make it seem like, to the little one, he might be going for a proxy 2 racks. And of course, the little one already wary of that, doing his checks in the usual proxy spots. So Bomber is trying to make his opponent think he's going to be going for some kind of a proxy 2 racks just by hiding the barracks over here. But what he's actually going to be doing is a 1 racks expand. You see, he has not built a second racks. He's not gotten any gas either. He did not see that, though. So, is he going to look? Yes, like the baller he is. He looks, he sees the barracks, and he's like, okay, that's fine then. So he's going to head back home. He's got his hatchery already on the way. SCV is going ahead and just kind of keeping tabs on, or I should say the drone keeping tabs on the SCV, but doesn't actually need to be too concerned about anything, because, well, he didn't see a second racks, and he knows it is going to be a 1 racks expand. Actually, moving the racks to the low ground, which not only allows a partial wall, but also faster reinforcement time. Some very nice, cute little play from Bomber, and that is what you get when you are such a good StarCraft player. TLO does now have his second hatch up and running. He's going to start a queen there in just a second, and yeah, there it is. Not getting any Zerglings quite yet, but no doubt we'll probably see 2 at some point in the future, and by 2 I mean 1 set, just to grab the Zelnaga towers and have a little bit of map presence. Bomber following it up with 2 more barracks, 2 more refineries should be following this pretty soon as he has the money. And you can see right now he's just building SCVs and building SCVs and building SCVs. As TLO is going to come down here, he's going to scout these barracks. Be like, huh, that's a cute little wall. But he's just droning at the same time, so he has no concern for what Bomber's doing, unless it's something that's going to kill him. So he's going to need to wait a bit before that could potentially happen, because for the time being, both players quite content to macro. TLO sending out overlords. He does, of course, have the one here that lets him see his opponent's base, and kind of particularly lets him see what's leaving here. If they don't leave here, then, well, it adds a good amount of extra time onto their push, because they have to run around. But look at that, 5 more drones on the way. He's currently up 24 to 21 with 3 queens out, or 2 queens out, 2 more queens on the way. He's up by about 10 supply right now. Going to be using these queens for some creep spread, using these ones for injects that just popped. And one important thing to remember, guys, is that if you're actually, not sure what the queen attacked right there. I guess the other queen, maybe. But one thing to keep in mind, guys, is if you're doing this 4-queen opener without the gas, as soon as your first and second queen pop, you actually cannot inject with both of them. You cannot afford to spend those larvae. Inject with one, spread creep with the other. Do it a bit like a TLO chooses to do it. And Bomber, getting a factory, of course, has the 2 gases up and mining. He got them at right around the same time. And he does have the tech lab, which TLO does indeed see, so he knows it's probably going to be either Stimpak or Combat Shield going down. Now, the fact that he doesn't actually know which makes a fair difference, because the fact that he's going for Stimpak says the Bomber is going to have to get fast Metavacs, which we do see happening here. TLO grabbing a macro hatch of his own. TLO in particular loves to stay on this low-tier Ling-Baneling play for quite some time in the Terran versus Zerg matchup, getting an Evo Chamber and another Evo Chamber. No signs of teching quite yet. No lair, but of course he does have to wait for the upgrades before he can really start dumping that gas into some other higher tech things. So Bomber is going to be getting some medevacs very, very soon. He does have a Marine just patrolling over here. It's going to make sure that no Overlord can get in and scout, or at least he hopes not, because then his opponent will see some pretty fast medevacs. Taking a look at the worker count, we see it is 34 SCVs to 46 drones. So, of course, TLO with the lead that he should have. Getting, is that triple Evo Chamber? Interesting. Now, this one can, of course, be partially for defensive purposes, but I wonder if there's a reason he has triple Evo Chamber. Because he doesn't even have a Roach Warren, so there's no reason for him to be getting that upgrade. He does have a Baneling Nest on the way, and I guess V is right next to B on the keyboard, but of course to build Banelings you just go BB versus BV. So I don't know why he has a third Evo Chamber. It might just be because 3 is the magic number in TLO's book. That is of course the number of letters in his name. He's going to see the timing on this gas. Not going to see the timing on this one. But Bomber has 1 engineering bay researching that +1, grabbing that 3rd command center. Actually a pretty late 3rd command center by today's standards. But of course, as a result, Bomber does have a fairly good economy and amount of tech already going. Interesting rally points. Just wants to make sure that none of them come out on the wrong side of the barracks, just like that one just did, which I guess kind of sucks. But he is a bit supply block. TLO making 12 more drones to help saturate that 3rd. There is a drop going down, and oh god, that's a terrible position for TLO to try and kill them in, because Zerglings cannot attack, and he's going to get the Evo Chamber and the Baneling Nest. And that Baneling, he does not know how important it is that he's going to get that Evo Chamber, or that he gets that Evo Chamber. Bomber, get the Evo Chamber. And yes, Bomber, you need to get the Evo Chamber. Oh my god. TLO just saving that. So huge. That would have delayed +1 about another 130 seconds, but he is going ahead dropping more Marines. They are pre-sped, so to avoid that Baneling splash damage, getting in a choke, so it's hard for the Zerglings. Drones being pulled off the line to attack now, and all he wants is for this +1 to finish, and he does successfully defend it and allow it to finish. So Bomber doing a nice little bit of damage right now. You see he has lost far less resources than his opponent, sitting at another drop as we speak, but again, the thing is, well, he's mined far less than his opponent as well. He has the, he actually has a superior number of workers at this point, which I did not realize. Nice out of Bomber, especially with that mulage. You see his income quite a bit higher, and TLO is going to have to drone up a bit after losing a fair number here. I want to make sure to put guys back in there, but wow, Bomber being great, cleaning up the creep and doing so much damage with just a little teeny drop, pulling back the injured medevac back home so it can be recouped. And these Marines are unfortunately having a lot of trouble getting back to the medevac, and they do fall. But, I mean, Bomber has done what he needed to do. He got the worker count to his favor. He has a 3rd command center secured, and he's just going to be able to go ahead and macro to his heart's content, and that is what Bomber likes to do more than anything else. Infestation Pit on the way for TLO, as well as 2-2, and the Baneling Speed, which is, of course, already delayed once. Bomber, however, getting +2 attack already, probably going to be getting +1 armor soon, and oh god, TLO is just going to be doing a run by. That's unfortunate for Bomber. Now he doesn't just float the SCVs through, so he doesn't actually lose a whole lot. Some of them running up into the main, actually all of them running all up into the main, but of course Bomber with this own nice control, just floating the SCVs back around to the natural expansion. So they are not actually stopped by the Zerglings. The Zerglings is trying to kill more SCVs, maybe just holding position, but they're not going to be able to kill anything up in here. Viking is just patrolling for overlords that are spread out around the map, but TLO has successfully droned behind this. He's up to 76 over 63, but only just now getting his his minerals, getting his gas back up and running. And is that, yeah, okay, so he still has a triple Evo chamber, so I guess it could have been nice for him if he lost this one. He could have just restarted the upgrade, maybe TLO anticipating it. He also could be, well, I don't know, I still don't understand his reasoning for that 3rd Evo chamber. But TLO, much better player than me. He's actually making a 2nd lair. Not sure if that's intentional. He has a lair already finished, TLO. Maybe he's just like faking out his opponent. His opponent will see here and be like, oh, you're on lair tech. And then he'll actually be on hive. because he has the infestation pit already. And my god, look at this production tab, and I just realized I have not had that up the whole game. That is rather unfortunate. Bomber is ahead on supply right now. We take a look at the supplies. Well, Bomber has about 20 more in terms of the army, while it's about 10 less in terms of the workers, which, well, that is why he's 10 supply ahead. 20 minus 10 is indeed 10. Burrow on the way for TLO, bunch of Zerglings, Hive is about to complete, +2 Carapace about to complete, so he'll be able to go ahead and get that 3 Adrenal Glands, probably Ultralisks, just because that would make the most sense with his upgrades, and if he was going Spire, with the Greater Spire, he would already have the Spire well on the way. And might I add, not that this is atypical for a modern Zerg versus Terran, but look at the creep spread. It is oh so important to know what is going on with the different expansions, know if there's going to be drops, and just use these creep tumors, fan them all out across the map, and that way you can actually deny your opponent's expansions and make ones of your own more secure, but you can also move faster around the map, and he might need it for this push coming up here for Bomber. Oh, did not see that coming. That's a little bit unfortunate, and not only is that going to kill a fair number of Bomber's units, it's going to force Bomber to play a little bit scared. Now, there are Zerglings running up here, killing the bunker, killing the Marines, and seeing if they can get any damage done. Now, they do have Burrow. So luckily for TLO, he is going to be able to keep those alive and just keep Bomber a little bit annoyed, but he is just going to be able to go ahead and kill him. I'm not sure what was detecting it. Is there? Oh no, I guess they unburrowed perhaps. But there's more Zerglings running in here as well, and TLO just doing a great job utilizing the run-bys in this game, but Bomber pulling back all his Marines, and he's actually still significantly ahead on supply right now, despite being behind on that worker count almost the entire game, except for one brief stint. TLO just going all out, but he cannot actually commit with these Zerglings. TLO, you're just going to lose them, TLO. Okay, so he does manage to pull this back. These Zerglings still just burrowed. He's going ahead and building a supply depot down there. I actually would have thought to see a missile turret. Missile turret just out of range of those guys, but no doubt he might get one up here soon. Gets one here to kill these, but I don't think he actually knows those were there. And they do now reveal themselves, and TLO has a fair number of Zerglings, but he actually is only making Zerglings right now. Okay, there we go. 6 Ultras popping, with +3/+3, and the chitinous plating as well. So definitely going to be good for him there. 4th hatchery is up and running for TLO, so it is 4 base to 3 base in favor of TLO, but of course that is oh so typical because you need to be at least 1 base up to really do a good job as Zerg versus any of the other races late game. He's engaging here, but between the Thor and the Siege Tank, and god, this Thor really putting on the hurt to those Ultras, and these guys are just going to kind of evaporate, particularly once Bomber's army arrives. And does TLO have any infestors? He has 2 more on the way, so he's going to have 3 in total without a whole lot of energy, so it's going to be hard for him to engage it. Through someone with micro like Bomber, it's going to be tough to really do some damage with those Ultras, really do some damage with those Lings when he can kite you all day long, and he's on almost equal upgrades with you. He's going to be on +3/+2, maybe? He's going to be on 3-1 when his opponent is on 3-3. So that will mean, of course, the Zerglings won't do as much damage as they might like, but they're going to die pretty darn quickly. And, oh god, big fungal going off, actually doing a very good job by TLO, but he lost 2 of the infestors right there. He's down to only 1 and doesn't even have energy. Ultralisk slowly running across the map, and I'm nervous for TLO here. We do see he's so far behind on army supply despite having a supply lead because, well, he's got 40 more workers than his opponent, and this is a scary push, pre-splitting his units, but he doesn't even know the fact that, well, there actually aren't already infestors, there are a few banelings, but splitting against banelings in the absence of infestors is nothing for these pro gamers. 1 Ultra running up, another Ultra running up. Banelings maybe going to try and connect, but units are just dying left and right for TLO, and that was not an efficient trade right there. They're just running through a line of Marines, which actually was not cost efficient at all. You see TLO losing about 2,000 more than his opponent. Bomber now getting sieged up, splitting his units, keeping his Thors in a good position to help tank up the damage. TLO is maybe just going to counterattack. No, he is just going to run around from 2 different angles. I don't know whether it's actually going to matter. Getting some pretty good Baneling hits up here, and he's crushing down on Bomber from all sides, and oh my god, TLO with the flank, doing so much damage to Bomber, but Bomber pushing back out with a bunch of Marines. And these guys looking very scary. Tanks are going to siege up once more. Medevacs running low on energy, but, well, they still have it. That's all that matters. Now, once again, the Ultras coming in from all different sides, and Bomber does not have any Marauders. And you need Marauders to kill the Ultralisks. Oh my goodness, Bomber, you were in such good shape entering this part of the game. He is going to have a Thor. Thor is pretty darn good against Ultras. But he's down by about 60 supply now. And I'm not quite sure if he can manage it. And then there are also Zerglings in here killing and ravaging the SCV line. He's killed about 37 workers now. Bomber's worker count constantly falling along with his army size. And actually, this might be it for Bomber, despite having a near equal army. He doesn't have an economy behind this. He lost every SCV over here. He's down to 31 workers versus 84. TLO has a 5th expansion on the way. Zergling's picking off a free siege tank. Bomber with the pretty low upgrades for those armor, and that will, of course, make it oh so hard versus the Zerglings and Ultras. And here we go. Ooh. TLO wanting to engage, but he does not want to engage until he is positive that he wants to seal the deal, end the game, and he's just losing units, actually. But he does have Ventral Sacks, that Overlord drop on the way. 34 more Zerglings and a bunch more Infestors, so TLO finally going to have some Infestors out on the map. Pulls drones, actually, and oh god, he's going to get a surround. Oh, hot pickup, very, very nice from Bomber. Now they are constantly taking damage. The Thor back here does indeed start to fall. There are Marauders being made now. Bomber actually going to kill that push. These units all being fungled very, very hard, though. And the medevacs are simply just a little bit separated from these. But Bomber, I don't know. This is quite a close game still. Bomber pulling back, splitting his units very, very well. Has had some great control so far. And TLO has just lost more than his opponent this game, despite having Mind Warp. And Bomber is getting his expansion slowly back up and mining. 31 workers right now, but the Zerglings and Ultras is going to be doing way too much damage right here. Bomber trying to stutter step all across the map, but it's not actually going to be enough. There's still Ultras, there's still Banelings, and Ultras good against 5 Marines, no matter how many Ultras there are and how low health they may have. These Marines just do not do enough damage. They do about, what, 7 damage per shot as opposed to the 9. So that is going to be a significant difference. And Bomber down by about 60 supply, under 100 now. But still, TLO only about 137 supply. So Bomber running down here, he's going to see if he can snipe this expansion. But actually looking at, like, Bomber doesn't really have units. He's 17 Marines somewhere, but not looking so great for him. Once again, the Marines sitting back, and Bomber drops some mules and immediately throws down the GG. So that, guys, is the first ZVZ from this TLO replay pack. And I, for one, am exhausted. But I'll hopefully be bringing you guys some more soon. So stay tuned, subscribe to my channel, and check out the TLO replays playlist on my channel.